Okay. So you return to the cathedral and head back up to the rooms?
Yeah,
Basically, yeah.
I mean, there's still
Okay.
maybe a couple of hours left before like.
Well, the sun's coming up. You don't.
Yeah, but I'm assuming they'll summon us from the rooms whenever like Ellen gets back anyway. So like.
Yeah. Okay. Assume away.
As we head up to the rooms, I turn to
I
silence
forget what he
and
said.
say,
It was a long time ago. I
turn to silence and say, I turn to silence and say, I forgot what I want to say. Damn it.
You say that to me, it's really slipped my mind.
I've too much to drink here.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess I just.
You actually don't remember. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess when we get to the rec room, I'll be like. So apart from the little excitement, it seemed to go okay. Hopefully, we're on better terms than at the start of the night.
Now we've killed men together. Again.
Exactly.
We
Again?
have bonded. Blood.
Again. But I might go try to sneak a couple hours of sleep. I hope that you will not leave by yourself again. Or attempt to.
I do thank you for
appreciate
being
it.
so cordial.
And as you round the corner,
Oh, Elling, I'm tired.
as you round the corner, getting up to like the stair, sitting on the stairs
Yeah.
where you were sitting watching their rooms earlier, is indeed Elling Trias. Sort of arms and legs folded, humming contentedly to himself, and he sees you coming. He says, I wondered where the three of you had got off to. Interesting night, was it?
Fairly.
Oh,
We're showing them the city and
Ah.
a slight
Seen it
encounter
all
with
already,
some
have they?
misfits.
That's a shame. I thought I
covered
might take them
most of
to see the sights myself today. Ah, well, I'm sure we'll find another way to spend our time. Silas, report to Jasper. No, what do you call it? Report to Mr. Fell at SI7. He has some instruction to offer you before your next assignment.
Very good, sir.
Talia and Shalon, if you would accompany me, he says, standing up, and then sort of pauses and says, unless you're too tired, in which case I could come back at a more convenient hour.
I turn to Talia and be like, we can go.
I am refreshed.
I assure you we just need to talk.
Of course.
Of course.
I turn to Silas and say, good evening.
Have a good time. Did you say good evening?
He did,
Is that
but
not done?
it's
Not in the
morning now.
morning.
Not when the sun's coming up.
Good night?
No,
Good
good
morning.
morning.
Oh, but if it's like...
Oh, good day. Good day, maybe.
Yeah. Have a
Good
good,
day,
day.
sir.
Yeah, have a good yeah, exactly.
Hail and
Good
well
day.
met.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You don't say good night after the night if it was good. You know, not normally. You normally say it before.
Yeah.
But you can say good night, and I'll be
I
like,
say some
yes.
variation of good evening, good night, good morning, good day.
sure.
Whichever one fits.
In case I don't see you again, good afternoon,
Yeah.
good evening, good night. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yes. I imagine we will meet again.
Threatening?
Meet
No,
again.
in a way-
Okay, well, and then you all. I mean, you have this. You say this as you're leaving the cathedral together because you're obviously going out the front door. But then Elling turns right towards, as if heading towards the harbour to lead Shalon and Talia away, and Silas, you're going to be heading the route you just came back to Old Town.
Sweet, I'll do it.
This building here is SI7. When I'm thinking.
Which one? Oh, wow. Is that common knowledge? Or
Yeah,
does it say SI7 on the door?
there's a sign. Yeah.
But do people like go there, kind of like wear hoods up when they walk in? Otherwise, it's really obvious to
No.
everyone who's in the member of the
it's,
SI7.
it's not like a public building. Oh, like is it like the people?
Yeah, like the members, like who are going
in and out. No, but you just disguise yourself as a cheesemonger. You're just delivering cheese.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Even spies need cheese, Ian.
They more than anyone else.
What?
I don't know.
They're cheesy. Like they have cheese tactics.
Tactics.
I see.
You know, like in games, you say, "Oh, we're cheesy."
Mhm.
So you're heading off there, and let's handle Shalon and Talia first. So unless either of you have anything to say, you walk in silence for a minute or so as he leads the way through the cathedral square or cathedral district.
Yeah.
And then eventually he turns and says, "I trust you found yourselves adequately looked after by my apprentice last night."
Sure, we had a bit of a standoffish attitude towards each other, but rest assured we have diplomatically talked it over.
Came to an understanding.
Well, I love the idea that like, your clothes are still like covered in blood and just,
Mine are not at all.
no, Talia's definitely.
Charlie was the only one, I think.
Well, well, that's in the fact that you were just generally standing in the vicinity of people who.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the
you know.
blood fully splatting
Yeah,
everywhere.
exactly.
I got hit by a two-handed axe, I hit people with a
yeah.
two-handed axe.
Again, and while yes, you did heal from it, you did technically get chopped wide open
Yeah.
by a great axe.
Okay, so he does not, in fact, lead you to the docks, but turns left away from the way down to the docks to the under construction Lion's Rest, where there's already a kind of a wall of heroes with a list of names that's been etched onto it of those who fell on the broken shore, and you can see like a sort of grand memorial to King Varian as being like carved with like lions around and a symbol of Stormwind and blue carpets and stuff as you watch. And he kind of gestures to a bench in the quite green area and takes a seat on one end of it so that you two could sort of sit next to each other.
So, Chris, after our tour with
middle.
Silas, would I recognize that this might be a place to like bury a body, like to hide a body, or no? Just wondering if, like, motive-wise, if this is somewhere like he would take us out here to silence us.
No,
Let us
this
sleep with
is
the fish.
Because
very...
that's definitely an honest thought in my head.
That's fair.
'Cause-
No, this is a very public place.
Okay.
It's open. It's looked down on by like a fair portion of the buildings in the city. People could sort of look down into this area and see what's going on.
Gotcha.
I mean, you could like stash a body under a hedge, I suppose. But like even at this hour, there's workmen around constructing and carving, and it's. I guess it's loud enough that you can, just because of the construction work going on, that you can have a conversation without being overheard. But it's certainly not a private place.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so I'll take a seat on the bench.
So yeah, you guys take a seat on this stone bench, and for a minute, sort of sit there watching the goings on, and eventually, Elling breaks the silence and says, "So I will admit, I spent most of my night wondering what to do with the pair of you. You do, of course, or you do indeed seem to be loyal and capable members of the Alliance, but as you are not members of SI7, nor do I intend to indoctrinate you in that respect, it's the idea of you continuing to hang around Stormwind where you might inadvertently talk to someone does present a bit of a problem."
Well, at least in my case, I do not think you need to worry. After this matter of the Astral Lotus, do not intend to
Oh?
wish to depart back to Darnassus as soon as I am.
And what is it that is for you in Darnassus, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm an auctioneer there. I hope, in fact, I hope to return to my current job status is unclear, but I do need to return.
Rather capable for an auctioneer, wouldn't you say?
Let's just say I have a history with combat. A long time ago.
And what of you, Shallan? Do you intend to return to Darnassus? Priestess of Elune?
At some point, of course, but My immediate plans would probably be to return to, where did we come from again? Goldshire?
Yes.
At some point to Goldshire to continue my priestly duties there.
He mulls this over. He says, "What interest would you have in using your the capable talents you have demonstrated so far to my apprentice to serve the Alliance in a more meaningful capacity, as like a large stone is lowered into place, forming part of the memorial to Varian.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that he's brought you to this place for a sort of symbolic background to the conversation."
What would you have in mind?
I would gauge your interest first before I reveal my hand.
Once
Within
upon a
reason.
time, wished to join the military. Since then, I've quite enjoyed a life of civility, career, but I have to think about.
And yourself, Shalal?
I intend to serve the Alliance in the best way I know how. If this is something that I believe would do a greater good than tending to the citizens of the Alliance, then yes, I would very much be interested.
This would be serving the citizens of the Alliance in a capacity few people ever have the chance to.
Sorry, sir, would you recruit us in a fight against the Horde or the Legion?
He gives you a long stare, Talia, and says, "Interestingly, I'm not sure so many people would have been perceptive enough to distinguish between those two conflicts at a time like this. Are we not allied with the Horde on the Broken Shore? What makes you think that they are a threat to us?"
I should say I've heard some rumors about Horde action. And we do have a history of battle. Perhaps it is also a bit of hope for me.
He nods slowly, and then, as if reaching a decision, says, "We received some intelligence this morning. I trust in your whatever remaining time you have in Stormont, you will keep your lips sealed on this. This is still sensitive. It has transpired that the Alliance were not the only faction to suffer a great loss on the Broken Shore. Vol'jin died this morning of his wounds. The Horde has been left potentially leaderless, but our spies in Orgrimmar already have suspicions that Sylvanas Windrunner is tipped to become the new war chief. Sylvanas was always, or has always been, more antagonistic towards the Alliance than Vol'jin was. Her animosity towards Gen Greymane notwithstanding, the city she and her people occupy is, after all, the former capital of Lordaeron. With Sylvanas as war chief, nothing is certain about the nature of our alliance, especially given their betrayal or apparent betrayal on the Broken Shore. The king, that is, Anduin, will hear none of it. He is a pacifist at heart and dreams that one day the Horde and Alliance will live at peace. I respect him for his optimism, and I can't blame him. He has developed a certain friendship with various members of the Horde. I know for certain that he is close to Bane Bloodhoof, as they spoke at length at the trial of Garrosh Hellscream. However, there are certain players in Stormwind, I would class myself as one of them, and Matthias Shaw as another, that cannot be so romantic in our assumptions of what will happen. We have to be pragmatic, cynical, and our pragmatism and cynicism has many times served to save the Alliance from potential calamity. Put short, there are those of us who do not trust the new war chief, do not trust her people, and do not trust her intentions for the Eastern Kingdoms while our armies are tied up fighting the Legion on the Broken Isles. Frankly, we think she's up to something. And while Anduin will not move against the Horde at a time like this, intelligence must be gathered and preparations must be made should conflict be in the future. My next mission for my apprentice is to send him to Lordaeron via various methods of rapid transit, and without giving away the precise details of the mission at this time, his job will be to infiltrate to a degree and discover exactly what is going on up there, and learn as much of the plans of the Horde here in the Eastern Kingdoms as can be learned. I would, now that you know who he is, know that who I am, and have some experience working with him, like to request that the pair of you accompany him in his mission and lend what aid you may. It would, as I said, be, while somewhat distasteful while we are in a state of non-aggression with the Horde, of utmost necessity and service to the continuation of the Alliance.
Just out of curiosity, I'm sure you have attempted to have spies in the Undercity. They a record of returning often?
Spies are hard to locate or hard to infiltrate the Undercity with. There are orcs we can pay. They are not always entirely loyal, but a human struggles to pass as undead, and the Forsaken themselves are fiercely loyal to their Banshee Queen, so our intelligence gathering efforts there in the past have always been limited. And again, while I will not state the precise instructions that Silas will soon be receiving, you would not be expected to make your way into the Undercity proper and spy on anyone there. That would be a task too dangerous, or rather a task more suited to others of certain skill sets that I would send. I certainly would not send a Worgen to infiltrate the capital of the Undead, for example. As much as I trust Silas, the Worgen have too much of a history with their people for hot-headedness not to become a factor. No, you would be largely present in the countryside, intercepting couriers, interrogating those that you capture, and generally speaking, discovering what you can about the goings-on, reporting on troop movements and other such things. I will speak of no specific locations yet, but that would broadly be the nature of the task.
See.
I ask only because you have proven yourselves capable, and to a degree you, well, know too much to be kept around Stormwind, if I'm perfectly honest. Especially now that I have shared even more with you, which I have done because I trust you. And my trust is not easy to come by, let me say.
I thank you. No offense meant to the humans. In today's world, Lordaeron is considered one of the most terrifying places in Azeroth. How much time would we have to consider this problem?
Silas would be leaving tomorrow evening, with or without you.
Look to Shalon and say, do you need time to consider? Made up your mind.
I believe I will join Silas. I think this is a worthwhile effort.
In that case.
It warms my heart to hear such loyalty to the Alliance. I hope you understand the importance of discretion about exactly what it is you're up to, even among the more senior members of the Alliance. In short, it is, and he seems slightly awkward about this, it is rather vital that the King not find out exactly what we're up to, not until we have actionable intelligence to present to him that he cannot ignore.
Well, luckily for you, we have no particular allegiance to your king.
I suppose you don't at that. He doesn't seem troubled by that. It just seems to be something he hadn't really considered.
Yeah. He's more pragmatic than that.
Very well. Then, will you for now return to your rooms at the cathedral? I think we can trust you to be without supervision. Silas will return this evening with his orders and or rather, will return this evening with exact instructions for the group of you to follow tomorrow evening.
I do have some business to attend to. Will I need to wait until Silas can accompany me on this, or have we passed that stage?
He thinks about it and says, "No, feel free to explore the city. Simply exercise discretion with whomever you speak. And of course, should anybody confront you about what we spent so long talking about on this bench today, you will impress upon them that you have a fantastic interest in high-quality cheese."
Of course.
Who doesn't?
Perhaps you were negotiating a delivery to Tyrande. Yes, in fact, I shall send her some free of charge, simply to maintain the illusion. With my compliments. He sort of thinks this over and then stands up and says, "Well, I have much to attend to. Believe it or not, I am something of a busy man. Thank you nevertheless for your time, Shallan and Talia."
Of course. By the way, would
May
humans
Elun's
go
light
by...
guide you.
Do humans go by, like, master, like, first name or last name in WoW?
Similar to...
But, like, Master Elling or Master
yeah.
Trias?
Master Trias.
I'll say. And thank you, Master Trias.
And he stands up and, with a gait that belies everything you know about the man, wanders off as though whistling to himself as though without a care in the world.
Okay.
Beautiful deception.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful deception check.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the two of you on the bench.
I stand up and say, well, that was certainly interesting.
A better outcome than I feared was possible.
Seems we've been promoted from our position as prisoners, at least.
Greatly improved upon our former situation. But what business do you have to do?
Well, the trip to the auction house to make to perform analysis of my misgivings on my last deal. My current position, fund-wise, and my new position, at least temporarily, in the city of Stormwind.
Okay.
And perhaps I could also see to the sword we found. Gauge its worth and see where that gets.
Do you have that with you right now? Then did we grab like when we stopped at the cathedral? Did you grab your stuff or no?
No, I don't think so.
Of course. Do you mind if I accompany you, or would you like to do this alone?
Company would be nice.
Perfect. And I'll stand up as well. Kind of brush yourself off. And I guess we'll walk back to the cathedral.
Okay, so you guys head back to the cathedral. Meanwhile, all this has been going on. Silas, you
Yeah.
have made your way across the city through the various canals.
Didn't get attacked this time.
Didn't get attacked this time. You did walk past like the alley and see sort of sort of someone's like
Blood
scrubbing the
stains,
blood off the
yeah.
wall, like the bucket and a mop,
Yep.
but not too vigorously because it's
What
all
was the name of the
town.
person you said I was going to meet with?
You know exactly who he is. You
Yeah.
are on your way to meet with Jasper Fell or Mr.
What's he
Fell.
like?
Mr. Fell is he's listed as a shady dealer, but you would know him as a poison master.
What is it?
Oh shit!
Okay.
I'm giving him poison.
He's
a bad idea.
like a guy in his mid-30s. He's got a beard, long dark hair.
Okay. But what's his personality like?
Um,
Jokes?
yeah, he's
Funny.
a fairly good-natured guy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Jasper.
Okay, so you make your way. You enter SI7. The person on the door recognizes you and sort of nods you in.
Mhm.
And you enter the sort of the communal, not public, but communal area. There's chairs around and bookshelves, paintings on the walls, rugs. There's a lot of sort of roguish types hanging out.
Yeah.
And as you enter, Jasper spots you from across the room and nods and winks
He's that
from
kind
a
of
chair.
guy. Okay.
He's that kind of
Yeah.
guy.
Stop ruining Anduin. Bad, Josh. Bad. Alright. Okay, I kind of walk on over to him. I'm like, not my like Mr. Phil.
He stands up and says, "Ah, the cheesemonger's apprentice. We've been expecting you." And he reaches out a hand to shake.
Yeah, shake it.
"Come with me. I have something to show you that I rather think you'll be interested in."
Of course.
And he leads you over to a narrow staircase set against the far wall that descends into some kind of dank cellar.
Nice. My favorite
Dank in
kind.
the traditional sense, not the Mimi sense,
Not
but
the
possibly
Mimi
also the
sense.
Mimi sense.
Yeah, Mimi sense. Cool. Yeah. I follow him into the dankness.
You follow him into the dankness and
the darkness.
come down into a alchemical laboratory. Ah, fuck! I fucked up. I was gonna give you a document to look over while I spoke to the others, but I forgot to share the document to you. So
definitely.
yeah, you can look over it now, I guess.
He hands me a sheet of paper with this bit on it.
I guess we've been playing a little while, right? We can take a little break. He leads you down into an alchemical laboratory and then says, "So, I heard from Elling that you've expressed an interest in learning about use with poisons."
Yes, it had come up during our conversations.
Certainly, it's a very traditional thing for one in your craft to be acquainted with.
Indeed, I thought it would prove useful.
He says, "Well, I am, of course, the master of all such toxic
Yes, I've heard.
toxic uses in this environment, and Elling has asked me to offer you some instruction into their concoction and use."
Excellent.
Right, copy link.